Tyler, I'm looking at your blog. Is Thomas Paine still relevant today? And I have already read this, so I'm talking to you after I've already read it through once. So, to be honest, as I was reading, I was really concerned because I thought you had failed to understand the assignment to begin with. You talk quite a lot about Thomas Paine, more than I expected you to do, but you do leave him eventually and go to your connection, so that's great. Let me just point out a few things here at the very beginning because they're things that I see throughout the paper, and so there's no sense in just going through and telling you every single time I see this happen. But you do have some common errors that are consistent throughout the blog. Looking at this sentence, during the American Revolution, he spoke out against British tyranny. During the American Revolution is an introductory phrase. Anytime you have an introductory phrase before the subject of the sentence, you always place a comma there. American Revolution also should both be capitalized, American and Revolution. In this sentence, in 1775, comma, he wrote his most famous work. You'll see that this comma error is one that's common in this particular blog. Looking at this sentence, this was one of the first works expressing a political opinion from such a blunt, biased perspective in America, and is still one of the most well-known today. In this case, this comma is not necessary. You place a comma before a coordinating conjunction like and when it joins two complete sentences or two independent clauses. The words is still one of the most well-known today. Do not represent a complete sentence. Also, remember biased, ed, perspective. As you go on down, there are several of these kinds of comma errors. There are several of these kinds of grammatical and mechanical errors as well. Content-wise, it's very interesting. I like that you gave quite a long history to Paine, a lot of information about him before you went to your connection. And what you have to say about him is that he cared greatly for the things that he stood out. Looking here, Paine left us with a lot to think about and also some great advice with his many witty quotes. In this paragraph comma, I will share some of my favorites, starting with character is much easier kept than recovered, and going on to if there must be trouble, let it be in my day that my child may have peace. I love that quote. I have to agree with you. You went from that to pollution, to industry and pollution, and talked about the notion that we need to deal with these kinds of problems. I love that you have very serious global warning video followed by the Lorax, and I love Dr. Seuss as well, and so I understand that connection. I'm afraid that you spend much more time focusing on Paine, though, than you do on your contemporary issue. You kind of give lip service to it, but you don't talk a lot about it here. So I think that you need to remember when you're focusing on a contemporary issue, you want to focus on that. You want to give your attention to that. This picture, while funny, has not much to do with your blog at all, and just throwing a picture of Thomas Paine in the end seems senseless as well. So you really could have ended your blog here. Overall, some interesting information, lacks focus with only one little paragraph about a contemporary issue, and several grammatical and mechanical errors. So this particular blog will receive an 80 because of the grammar mechanics and lack of focus.